How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing all right? Let me know if you can hear me okay. I will try today to lower my voice. The reason why I always talk in a high-pitched voice, which isn't really my natural voice, is because for some reason I'm scared that if I talk in my natural voice, you guys won't be able to hear me. Do you know that? I'm always scared that if I talk in my natural voice, it'll be so low you won't be able to hear me. So I'll talk in my natural voice today. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's time. It's that time for AJ Watch.
Remember you're running up, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass jaws, none of you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni, none of you will like it. Watch your mouth, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that.
Here you go. AJ ain't into all that shit. It also seems like something else Anthony Joshua isn't really into at the minute is reality. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but you hear AJ there saying, see all this public eye bullshit. I ain't about that. Seems like AJ also ain't about reality, because yesterday we forgot to touch on some of these comments, and I want you to give me your thoughts on these. By the way, the chat today is subscribers only. This is something that I want to tweak and play with for a while, so we'll see how it goes today. But the chat is subscribers only, so for now, if you'd like to jump in the chat and join the chat, you'd probably have to subscribe. But at some point, we're probably going to up the threshold even more to try and filter out some of the garbage. But I'll get back to you on that soon. Please, if you can, hit the like button. If you'd like to be in the chat, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. If you don't, then you know what will happen.
What's going to happen now? It's dead. You're dead.
Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth, Dougie Joyce. All right, let's have it then. This is the article from Anthony Joshua, right, in the Guardian newspaper. And first and foremost, I'd really like to apologise for actually quoting anything from the Guardian newspaper. To be honest, probably one of the worst newspapers, in my opinion, in the history of mankind. So, apologies for me. I know the Sun has a bit of a bad rap, yeah, amongst football fans from a certain area. I know the Sun newspaper has a very bad rap, but for me, the Guardian is absolute complete trash from top to bottom. So apologies in advance for bringing the Guardian up here. Having said that, there's some of these quotes from Anthony Joshua about his fight with Alexander Usyk. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, is this man still in touch with reality? I mean, he says he's not blaming his team. He says he's not throwing his team under the bus. To me, I would beg to differ. Again, this to me has no real. Well, we'll see. Does it have any real bearing on it? But I've said from the get-go, I think Anthony Joshua's going to get a points decision over Alexander Usyk in this rematch. Okay. Then again, I am one of the worst predictors of fights in the history of mankind. So if you're an Anthony Joshua fan, I pretty much have put the kiss of death on him. But we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, just these comments on the that have been quoted in the Guardian. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how delusional would you say Anthony Joshua is in this fight? Let's have a look. Jesus Christ. Joshua believed he was winning the fight, even though he was outfought, and ultimately outclassed by the smaller Usyk. Rather than being urged to increase the intensity of his work in the last rounds, Joshua said the instructions from his corner were more like double jab, right, left hook. It wasn't like, take the fight to this fucker. Listen, you're losing the fight. No, a trainer needs to tap into that psychological aspect. Sometimes you need to tell your fighter, yeah, we're losing a world championship fight. It carries on. I've got my own opinions on this, and we'll get your opinions on this, but it carries on. When asked if he really believed he was winning the fight against Usyk, Joshua said, I mean, just listen to this. This is unbelievable what I'm about to quote here. I swear I thought I was. I thought I was looking like Muhammad Ali in there. I'm not blaming anyone by saying that, but I didn't get any impression I was losing the fight. I thought we were well in it. That's why, when they announced Usyk's name, I was kind of like, huh? Can you believe that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how delusional, let's be honest, how delusional do you think Anthony Joshua is to say that he thought he was looking like Muhammad Ali in that fight against Alexander Usyk? Again, I'm not making this up. I mean, you can see there, I've highlighted the direct quote from the Guardian newspaper in yellow. I thought I was looking like Muhammad Ali in there. I'm not blaming anyone by saying that, but I didn't get any impression I was losing the fight. I thought we were well in it. That's why when they announced Usyk's name, I was kind of like, huh. Look, I don't want to pile on Anthony Joshua, but I have to be honest and call a spade a spade. These are some of the most delusional comments I've ever heard him come out with. And he's come out with some pretty delusional comments. Look, I mean, we all remember this, and I won't play it all the way through. But for those of you who are new to the show, I mean, Anthony Joshua and delusional comments. I mean, recently, these are going hand in hand. Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Because I'm coming for them belts, boy. You're going to see the raft of the new champ. Different energy, different spirit. Coming to win. I tried to learn boxing, stick and move. Isolating the sweet science of the sport, doctrinating my style. But we're going back to the raw, rugged streets. That's where I belong. I never followed no athletes growing up, no movie stars. I followed the hustlers, the Rayful Edmonds, the Jeff Ports, the Nicky Barnes, the Big Meaches, the Larry Hoovers. You understand me? They're the people that gave me that inspiration, the ones that came up from the streets to the top of the world, the empires, the bangers, the hustlers.
I mean, it's not looking good, is it? It's with all due respect. I mean, it is not looking good, is it? It's just this is. I mean, Martin Butler's just nailed it there. You need to be delusional to an extent, but this goes beyond, and that is a bang on comment. You know, as a professional athlete, I expect you have to have delusional levels of self-belief in yourself. Absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that to a degree. But there's delusional, and then it's just going off the scale. Anthony Joshua said he thought he was looking like Muhammad Ali in his fight with Alexander Usyk. I don't know why he can't just come out and say, do you know what, I got it wrong. I didn't box well. I lost the fight. You win some, you lose some. You know? It is what it is. It doesn't bode well for the rematch. This kind of talk for me doesn't bode well for the rematch. It looks like, you know, let's get this up. Was it the 5 stages of grief, right? Or was it 5 stages of what? Yeah, 5 stages of grief. Or was it I've got 7 stages here. Let's go through this. The 7 stages of grief, starring Anthony Joshua. I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm looking at these comments, right, from Anthony Joshua. He says he looked like Muhammad Ali in the ring of Usyk, and he thought he was winning the fight, and he was shocked when a decision get read out. Where is he? Let's have a look here. 7 stages of grief. And guys in the chat, where would you say Anthony Joshua is in these 7 stages of grief? Shock, initial paralysis at hearing the bad news. That's why when they announced Usyk's name, I was kind of like, huh? Is he still in shock? Let's have a look, because we got shock here. What's the next one? Denial, trying to avoid the inevitable. All you guys are saying he's in denial. Anger, bargaining, depression, testing. Well, he's not in testing, because if you look at the testing stage, look. Seeking realistic solutions. Does anybody here think Anthony Joshua is in stage 6? Seeking realistic solutions. Let's have a look. Seeking realistic solutions. I thought I was looking like Muhammad Ali in there. I didn't get any impression I was losing the fight. Let's have a look at this. Look. Joshua also adopted the wrong strategy by trying to box Usyk rather than utilize his considerable height and weight advantage as well as his punching power. Right, listen. One of my strengths was my power, but I always wanted to go down that path of being a clean boxer, he said. Hit and not get hit. Do you guys agree with that? Have you guys ever seen Anthony Joshua as a hit and not get hit fighter? Press 1 if you agree with Anthony Joshua, and press 2 if you disagree with Anthony Joshua. One of my strengths was my power, but I always wanted to go down that path of being a clean boxer, hit and not get hit. Look, you could say he's been a little bit more defensively responsible. But what I would say is this about Anthony Joshua, and you let me know if I'm wrong or I'm right, okay, about this. Do you not think it's funny that Anthony Joshua becoming a little bit more defensively responsible in fights coincided with the increase in opposition? I could be wrong on that, but that's just my initial thought. Press 7 if you agree with me on that point, and press 8 if you disagree. Anthony Joshua was saying that he used to be a power puncher, but then he wanted to go down the road of being a clean boxer. I'm saying to you, do you not find it funny how Anthony Joshua stopped being as aggressive and stopped being the bulldozer once his opposition increased? You know when people say he needs to go back to the old AJ? Do you know when people say that? He needs to go back to Tony Sims. He needs to go back to the old AJ. Do you not find it kind of funny that when he was the old Anthony Joshua, he was the old Anthony Joshua against opposition like Dennis Baktov? He was the old Anthony Joshua against opposition like Gary Cornish. Is that a fair comment or not? I'm not trying to. I know it's going to happen. Ultra attack the hater. Okay, but do you not think that's a coincidence that he was the old Anthony Joshua when he was bashing up Dennis Baktov on Sky Sports, when he was bashing up Dillian White, when he was bashing up Gary Cornish, when he was bashing up Kevin Johnson? I'm just being honest. I'm just asking a question. Like, don't shoot the messenger. Do you not find it funny? That's when he looked at his most dangerous. You know the old AJ who showed no fear. He showed no fear when he was getting in the ring with fucking Baktov and Cornish, right? He showed no fear when he was getting in the ring with fucking Charles Martin. He got in the ring with Vladimir Klitschko, right? Would you say he was the old AJ? Oh, Jason's a clown. Stop hating Ultra, you hater, with all that heavy talk. Yeah, Jason, it's my fault. I need to stop talking like I'm a bad man, you know. I need to stop talking like I'm a gangster for asking if Anthony Joshua is dipping confidence levels, or if Anthony Joshua not being as dominant miraculously coincided with an increase in opposition. Exactly, Richard. Pre-Klitschko. Do people not find that ironic? Now, when Klitschko nearly put his lights out, and he was hurt bad, and listen, I believe Anthony Joshua does have heart, because to get up from that, I still don't know how he got up. Till this day, I still do not know how he got up from that shot from Klitschko. It was a monstrous shot. That should have been the end of the fight. But do people not find it funny that ever since the Vladimir Klitschko fight, where he nearly got his lights put out in that fight, he's never been the same since? It's just increasing opposition, isn't it? As time goes on, people see you in fights. People begin to work you out. And this is why I say about Anthony Joshua, and this is what I've said for a long time. A lot of the problem that Anthony Joshua's having, right? Exactly, Richard. Yeah, say that to his face. AJ would knock you out. It's just a lot of the problem that Anthony Joshua's having, right, at the minute, is because I think the people around him blow smoke up his backside, but also I think because his fan base is delusional. Do you think that's a fair comment? If I said to you that, on the whole, Anthony Joshua's fan base is delusional, on the whole, right? Is that a fair comment? Right. They can't accept any of his flaws. They can't accept any criticism. Where criticism is supposed to make you better, isn't it? Criticism is supposed to make you stronger. What do they call it in business? SWOT. Where's Mark, Businessman of the Year? Marco. Mark knows all about that. Strengths, weaknesses. What was it? Strengths, weaknesses, and something analysis. I forgot what it is. SWOT. Criticism is supposed to make you better, isn't it? You're supposed to look at yourself and say, do you know what? I'm not settling for that. That wasn't a quality performance. You know, we'll talk about Joe Joyce in just a minute, right? Joe Joyce, another example. You're supposed to say, look, I'm getting hit too much in this ring. Getting hit a little bit too much. Shouldn't have got hit with that shot. That's how you become better, isn't it? Like constant refinement, right? Constant improvement. that his fan base, and I suspect the people around him, are kind of impervious to any kind of criticism, aren't they? Instead of taking the criticism on board and saying, well, do you know what? Ultra might have a point here. He's getting hit with shots that he shouldn't get hit with. Do you know one thing I've been saying about Anthony Joshua? The lack of inventiveness. See, this is what gets you worked out in boxing very, very quickly. When you fight the same way, when you throw the same punches, when you do the same things over and over and over again, eventually you meet someone who works you out. Do you know what we were saying this? You guys are bringing up Canelo. You know, I was one of the only channels to say this about Canelo Alvarez, to say, look, Canelo's a great fighter. I'm not questioning that. But he does the same things in the ring over and over again. Flat-footed, walking down opponents in straight lines, you know, not throwing combinations together, relying on big single shots, overhand left hook, so overhand right, left hook, you know. And I said, eventually, when Canelo meets somebody who's able to put the jab on him and able to control distance against him, he's going to struggle, because it's very, very important, as we said in the Bivol fight, second phase in boxing, second phase. When you're in the ring with a bigger, taller man, right, you can't expect to always land in that first phase, right? Because the guy's much bigger and much taller than you. You should go in there with the knowledge that, look, when I go for my first jab right hand, I'm probably going to miss that jab right hand. But the point is, I need to stay compact. I need to stay balanced. I need to have my feet correct. I need to get in and land the shots after that. Does that make sense what I'm saying here? You guys have sparred. A lot of you guys have sparred. A lot of you guys have been in the ring with guys who are tall. You know you're not just going to walk up and land that first. You're not going to beat a 6'10" guy with a massive reach advantage to the jab, right? On the first jab, are you? It's just basic common sense. You're not going to beat the bigger, taller guy with a massive reach. You're not going to beat him to the jab on the first jab, are you? So what do you have to do? Walking down, throw combinations, second phase, all these kind of stuff we talk about. And Canelo fans are like, no, I'm a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. You're this, you're that. And they learned that lesson against Bivol. It's funny, isn't it? Just impervious to criticism. And I think the same thing goes on with Anthony Joshua. His problem, right, is that he fights in a very, very predictable way. He doesn't feint behind his shots very often. Does feint, but he doesn't feint behind his shots very often. His shots are always stiff. Jab, right hand. You know, with Anthony Joshua, 90% of the time, what he's looking for is that right hand. And if you see him in Usyk and you see him in the Usyk fights, he has a big telegraphed on his right hand, because when he goes for that jab, pulls his right shoulder back. Every time you see Anthony Joshua, cocks his shoulder back. Mike Tyson said it 100 times. I always say it. Cocks his right shoulder back when he's going to throws the jab and he cocks his right shoulder back. And fighters work you out, don't they? Telegraphs his punches. There you go. I'm not making it up. I always put this up. There he goes, Mike Tyson. I'm not going to go to the YouTube videos. Look, Mike Tyson warns Joshua can't afford to telegraph his, but he telegraphs his shots. You can see it. You can see a lot of his shots coming a mile off. You can literally see after Anthony Joshua throws a jab. You literally see when he throws a jab or doubles the jab, right? You literally see him fucking turn his right shoulder back, because you know he's setting up for the right hand. I'm just surprised. Well, Jason, we will talk about Tete and Cunningham. We will talk about that, and I'll show it as well. And I'm just surprised that after all these years of boxing, that's not something that he's looked into. But again, if you bring this up, his fans tell you there's no problem. And that if you say, look, you know, your guy's telegraphing, and, you know, your guy's kind of fighting in the same patterns, and it's kind of important that he starts mixing it up, because he's going to get found out if he doesn't mix it up, then you're a hater. And then you look in your inbox, you look in your Gmail, and you've got people saying that they know where you live and that they hope you die, and that they hope you go and hang yourself, or they hope you go and jump out of a window. And I've received those messages because you said, look, you know, this guy isn't the fighter that you think he is. So I do think, like I said before, you know, with Anthony Joshua, this is delusion of the highest level. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. You know, can I say something before we move on? Do you remember the conversations we used to have with Dillian White fans? Do you remember the shows we used to do? Press 1 if you remember, press 2 if you don't remember. But do you remember the shows we used to do about Dillian Whyte? And we used to say, can any Dillian Whyte fans come on in the chat and just explain to us how Dillian Whyte would beat Tyson Fury? Do you remember those chats? We used to do entire shows about this. 72 in the chat, 28 likes. Can you please hit the like button? Look, I'm going to hand out an olive branch. I'm going to give you a bumper latte if you hit the like button.
Bumper latte.
Do you remember we used to do entire shows and we used to say, Dillian Whyte fans, can you do me a favour? Just come in this chat and explain how Dillian Whyte is going to beat Tyson Fury in a fight. And do you remember how literally none of them could do it? There was like one guy who was able to come up with a game, which was completely wrong, by the way. He was saying, I'm not gonna drag his comment up, but somebody left me 10 paragraphs on my on all of my videos about how Dillian Whyte was gonna beat Tyson Fury to the jab and out-time Tyson Fury and do this and do that. And obviously in the fight we saw that none of that happened, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Jason, mind games. Do you remember that? We used to have these conversations. We just say, look, we'll give you a platform. Just come and tell us how Dillian Whyte's going to win. And do you remember that for the most part, not one Dillian Whyte fan could concisely explain how he would win? Do you remember that all they talked about was Dillian's playing a blinder by not turning up to the press conference? By the way, those people who said that, I think they must be smoking from the same pipe as Anthony Joshua, because Dillian Whyte had the biggest fight of his career. Never been. Has he been seen anywhere since? Last time we saw Dillian Whyte, it was in a parking lot talking to Anthony Joshua. This man just fought in front of 90,000 people. There's no real buzz that I can think of out there about who Dillian Whyte's fighting next. There's no massive buzz about who Dillian Whyte's fighting next. Do you think Dillian Whyte has capitalised on being in a stadium fight with 95,000 people watching him? Do you think he's managed to capitalise on that? In terms of building his brand, in terms of getting out there, breaking onto the mainstream. You know how you see Tyson Fury on Good Morning Britain? You know how you see Tyson Fury on This Morning with Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield? You know, primetime TV. You know how you see Tyson Fury on primetime breakfast TV? Am I right? Do you not see Tyson Fury on primetime? Even Tyson Fury's wife, Paris Fury, has had more exposure on primetime TV than Dillian Whyte has. Do you not understand that? That Paris Fury has been on primetime TV longer than Dillian Whyte. Paris Fury. Paris Fury. Dillian's playing a blinder. We haven't heard from him since, have we? And it was the same conversation that we used to have with Anthony Joshua fans about Tyson Fury. Do you remember what we used to say to Anthony Joshua fans? Can you please explain to me how Anthony Joshua is going to beat Tyson Fury? Genuinely, anything can happen in heavyweight boxing, but can you please explain to me how Anthony Joshua is going to beat Tyson Fury? Because he's going in with someone who's significantly taller and is going to have a reach advantage over him. And Anthony Joshua is somebody who needs to walk himself into the mid-range, really. Isn't he? He's someone that needs to walk himself into the mid-range and let his hands go. I mean, Anthony Joshua ain't exactly the greatest when he's got a jab. I mean, look at the Klitschko fight. Struggled from round one. And there's nothing wrong with that because Klitschko's a great fighter, but struggled from round one when Klitschko put the jab on him and showed him any kind of distance. You can see the problems. And we used to ask AJ fans, like, how is he going to beat Fury? Just out of interest, like, how is he going to do it? Like, what's the game plan? How is he going to get past Fury's jab? Does he have great head movement? He's in the ring with a bigger, taller guy. Does Anthony Joshua have fantastic head movement, or is he stiff? What do you guys think? Is he stiff, or does he have great head movement? When he's in the ring with a taller guy, is he the kind of guy that's going to be able to adjust his head, slip, ride, and roll jabs? Is he going to be able to do that? How's he going to get to the mid-range of Tyson Fury without getting jabbed and double jabbed? What about his feet? What about Anthony Joshua's feet? What about his feet? You see how Usyk had him turning corners. You see how Usyk was turning corners and pivoting around him and making him hit fresh air, right? You see Usyk. Usyk's a cruiserweight. Usyk's a shorter cruiserweight who managed to push Anthony Joshua out of the centre of the ring, back him up behind the jab and left hand, and was pivoting around him and turning corners around him. How's he going to get close to Tyson Fury? Just out of interest. I'm not saying he can't win. How's he going to get close to Tyson Fury, who's got outstanding footwork, who knows about angles? Tyson Fury, who knows how to double jab somebody, take a step back, make them fall short. Knows how to double jab someone, pivot and take an angle. How's he going to get up close without getting hit? Does he have good feet? Does Anthony Joshua feint a lot behind his shots? Is he the kind of fighter that's going to be able to disguise his shots against Tyson Fury? Is he? Is he the kind of guy that's going to be able to counter the counter puncher? Do you think he's the kind of guy who can do that? Do you think he's the kind of guy who's going to be able to feint, make Tyson Fury fall in, and then counter him? Has he shown that he's that kind of fighter over his career? That's another thing you can do against the big man, right? I had a chat with I had a tweet with Mark Tibbs yesterday about that. That's something that you can do against if you're a short man going in against the big man. One way you can go about it is you want the big man to fall in. You want the big man to give up their distance and fall in. So if the big man overcommits, they fall in too much, and then you can counter them. So you can stand in front of the big man, you can feint, you can do something, you can try and bait them in. You can try and bait them. And then when they give up the distance and they step in that little bit too far, or when they go and try and throw that right hand and they step in that bit too far, then you can step back, counter, slip, counter. Does Anthony Joshua, has he ever shown you any signs like that he can consistently do that in a fight against a fighter of the quality of Tyson Fury? I've yet to see that. And I'm not saying he can't win, but I've yet to see that. So my point is, where is this stuff coming from? You know what I mean? It's just, that's why I ask these questions. But apparently for asking them, I'm a hater. I think the fan base and the people around him are a huge problem. So let me finish off with this stuff. I mean, this is bizarre. One of my strengths was my power, but I always wanted to go down that path of being a clean boxer. Hit and not get hit. Look, I'll be 100% honest with you, right? And Harvey Chan, oh my gosh, is that Jake Paul? Jake Paul's absolutely ending people in sparring. Jeez, I've never seen this before. Wow, Jake Paul is flattening people. Wow. Wow. He has got a big right hand. But it's all about levels, isn't it? Ooh. Jake Paul is flattening people. So, sorry about that. I've never seen that before, you know. Let me see that one more time. Whew. 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 They all look smaller than him, by the way. I will say that. They all look like smaller people. Jesus. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Look, that was nice. He actually let him off there. Wow. I want to see that last one. It's always that right hand, that jab right hand, isn't it? Jab, right hand. Jab, overhand right. Every single time. He's got a decent overhand right, hasn't he? Jesus. Anyway. Yeah, he's got a decent right. He's got a good right, isn't he, Jake Paul? All I'll say is this, right? I'll say this about Anthony Joshua. This is the latest video of Anthony Joshua putting in the work for the Usyk rematch. Should I tell you what, right? I think Harvey Chan asked a great question. I'm going to go back to Harvey Chan's question. Harvey Chan made a great point. Harvey Chan basically said, that DAZN deal has got me worried that if this goes the distance, they're going to give it to Anthony Joshua. And that's basically the reason why I'm going for Anthony Joshua in this fight. That's basically the reason, to be honest. Like I said before, if the fight was being held in a neutral location with neutral judges, on a neutral platform, neutral promotion, everything 50-50, I would consider going to Usyk. Should I tell you what I think Anthony Joshua's biggest mistake in this fight is? Let me know. Press 5 if you agree with me, and press 6 if you disagree with me on this. I think that one of the biggest mistakes that Anthony Joshua's making is, I think he's talking too much. The opponent knows what he's going to do. He's given his opponent now the best part of 6 months to prepare for what he's going to do in the ring. What do you think about that? Why would you do that? He's given his opponent 6 months to prepare for what he's going to do. And I don't know why he's done that. I don't know why he's done that. Do you think I'm right about that, or do you think I'm wrong about that? I really do question the people around him. I really do question the people around him, you know, and why he's doing that, and why he's doing and saying the things that he's saying. You know, I question people like this guy, Eddie Hearn, who's a former amateur boxer, of course. I mean, what are they telling Anthony Joshua? He just needs to put it on Usyk from the first bell. Do you know who Alexander Usyk is, though? Do you know who he is? Do you think Alexander Usyk's never sparred with a big heavyweight before? Do you think he hasn't had big heavyweights in sparring before? Do you think he's never been in a ring with somebody who's tried to put it on him before? I'm just being honest. Do you think he's never been in a ring with somebody who's just tried to bum rush him from the get-go and tried to throw for the sake of throwing? How many amateur fights has this man had? Fighters like Usyk have been seeing that their whole fucking career. People don't understand that, you know. Fighters like Usyk have been seeing that their whole effing careers. You think he's never seen that before? You think he's never ever been in the ring with somebody who's bigger than him, who's tried to put it on him from the first bell, tried to cut off the ring and let their hands go? You think he's never seen that? You think he hasn't got a plan for that? The whole setup is bizarre, isn't it? That's my opinion. Like, the whole setup in this AJ camp is bizarre. I don't know why they're saying that. I don't know why he feels the need to say those things. Go in the ring and do it. Let me tell you something now, right? This is my fear about what's going to happen to Anthony Joshua when he fights Alexander Usyk. This is my fear, right? My fear is this. My fear is that Anthony Joshua is going to step in the ring. He's going to close distance. He's going to cut Usyk off. My worry is he's going to walk onto something. My worry is he's going to walk onto an overhand left. You see in the round 3 of the first fight, he walks himself, or Usyk hit him, or whips an overhand left around the guard. And like I said before, Usyk whips these shots around the guard very, very well. Very, very good at whipping shots around the guard and looping shots in and around. And that's what I said about Usyk. It's the accuracy and the angles that the shots come from. Very accurate puncher, but it's the way he loops the shots and the angles. They come from, you almost don't see them because he loops that left hand. And my worry about Anthony Joshua is he's going to pump himself up and he's going to try and bully Usyk. And I think if he gets hit in court early on with a big left hand in this fight and he gets hurt, I think he'll go into a shell. That's my worry about what's going to happen to him in this fight. Press 7 if you agree with me on that, or press 8 if you disagree. What do you think about that? That's my worry for him in this fight. Because they give, I'm sure it's going to be, you know, Robert Garcia's a world-class coach, etc., etc. Right? I understand that, but it really worries me the way they're going about this. Because I don't think he's bluffing. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Anthony Joshua's bluffing at all. I think that the people around him and telling him stuff like, you can't box with Usyk, you can't box with him. Do you think that's helpful? Like, okay, it might be, maybe there's an element of truth in that. Yeah, he can't box with Usyk, but you've got to be smart. You've got to box in bits. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, Mr. Anderson's been around boxing gyms, right? His whole fucking life. So he knows, I know he knows what I'm talking about. He predicted Usyk would beat AJ anyway, from literally from the day the fight was made. Richard's been around boxing gyms for years. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? When I say that, right? You have to box a little bit. Yeah, the fact that his promoter and the people around him are telling him you can't box this guy, like, in any way. You can't have a boxing match with this guy. The only way you can win this fight is by bum rushing him and letting your hands go. Fuck me. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that, man. It's pretty bad, isn't it? It's like You're not leaving him much slack, are you? What do you think about that? You're not leaving him much slack. You're not leaving him much room, are you? What are you doing? You're sending him in there and you're telling him, look, Anthony, we're going to send you into a boxing fight with a guy that you can't box with. Anthony, you can't beat this guy in any kind of boxing match. You can't box with this guy. You can't beat this guy. You can't get the upper hand on him in any kind of boxing match. So the only thing you can do, Anthony, in this fight is to bum rush him and let his hands go. That's what they've told him, and that's what they're telling the media. Meanwhile, one of the most gifted boxers that's ever fucking lived now has 6 whole months to prepare for that fucking game plan. A game plan that he's probably seen most of his fucking adult life. These dudes acting like Usyk's never seen this shit before. Guy's an Olympic gold medalist. He's never seen this shit before. Like, Usyk never thought that could happen in the first fight. Usyk never thought, well, you know what? AJ might try and put it on me. My honest to gut feeling, right? 107 people in the chat. Please hit the like button. If you'd like to jump in the chat, you'll need to subscribe because we can't have Muppets in the chat because we're actually having a decent conversation. I'm trying not to raise my voice. Please feel free to subscribe. And if you'd like to send me a super chat, please feel free to do that as well.
Donations. 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 Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts.
Joe says, it's gone from brilliant AJ to you're a shite giant AJ. It's. I mean, I'm sure Angel Fernandez is a very, very smart man. So Angel Fernandez is a very, very smart man. And so is Robert Garcia. So I'm sure they'll be telling him, look, there's things you can do. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It just doesn't run easy with me. Let me see what Eddie Hearn said about this. It just doesn't. There's something about this whole situation that doesn't ring right. Do you know what? Honestly, my gut, and this is a pure gut feeling. My gut tells me that Alexander Usyk's going to go to knock him out in this fight. Press 1 if you agree with me on that, and press 2 if you disagree. That's my whole gut, and that's just pure gut. That's not based on any knowledge. I don't know what's going on in camp. I haven't seen Alexander Usyk in camp, whatever. The impression Alexander Usyk gives me is that you're going to go take this guy out. I'm just being honest. When I look at Usyk, that's the impression I get. That the first time Usyk left it on the table. You see, Usyk left it on the table. Usyk had him hurt in round 3 in that fight. People need to understand that. Usyk had him hurt early in that fight. He had it hurt him multiple times in that fight. Something's telling me that in this fight, that if Usyk hurts him, he's going to go to close him out. That's my honest opinion of where Usyk is at right now. My honest opinion is that Alexander Usyk is going in this ring with the intention of taking this guy out. He's not going in the ring with the intention of letting it go to no points. Going into the ring with the intention of taking him deep and knocking him out. I agree with you, Harvey Chan. Harvey Chan says there's too much money behind AJ to lose this fight. Yeah, no problem. Hold on, Jason Walker. I got you. One sec, Jason. There you go. That's how much I love Jason Walker. I even modded you up on your wife's account. Never say I don't look after you. Never say I don't look after no Jason Walker. Even modded him on his wife's account. Crazy D3 says, if Usyk hurts him, he'll raise the tempo until Joshua's gas tank is depleted. I proper worry about AJ if he gets hurt. I'll proper worry about AJ if he gets hurt in this fight. Andre the Giant, who will have to get Andre the Giant. If we're still running YouTube by the time this fight happens, We'll bring Abdul, Andre, Daryl needs to come back. There's loads of people we can bring on. Usyk fears no one. I'm starting to think Usyk takes Fury out. He played with Joe Joyce. Joyce not much bigger than Fury. We'll talk about that another day. I think that's a fight Fury should be winning, really. But if he makes mistakes, you never know. But it's a fight really that Fury really should be winning that fight. Really, Usyk and Fury should be an extremely boring fight with Fury winning that behind the jab in the story. Really, he should be beating guys like Usyk. But you never know. If he falls in against Usyk, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Usyk got Fury on points. Not going to hurt him, but it wouldn't surprise me if Fury gets sloppy and falls in behind his shots and gives up his distance, yeah? And Usyk tricks him out of it. I can see Usyk winning that fight on points. Actually, I can actually see him winning that fight on points. But if Fury keeps his distance, or the other alternative is if Fury just backs him up and has him hopping around the ring. I don't know. We'll see. I can see Usyk beating Fury on points. On points. In a very, very scrappy fight. I don't think it'll be a good fight to watch. Very, very scrappy fight. Nip and tuck fight. But ultimately, I think Fury should be winning that fight, really. Keggy is talking about performance-enhancing drugs. Listen, the whole performance-enhancing drugs thing, I'm not going to hold that against Anthony Joshua because I think all of the top elite fighters are on them anyway. So I'm not going to just say it's just Anthony Joshua or say anything about Anthony Joshua and performance-enhancing drugs because I think all the elite fighters are on them, period. And I've said it before, like I said before. And I get criticised for saying that, don't I? I get people saying that, Ultra Tech's a hater. All I can tell you is this. I've said it a million times before. I've been in gyms. I've been in boxing gyms. I'm not saying I'm a good fighter. I haven't had any fights, but I'm just saying I've been in boxing gyms for nearly a decade, right? I'm telling you now, I know people on the white collar circuit that will take all kinds of stuff for a white collar fight. There's no way on this planet you can make me believe they're taking stuff for fucking white collar fights and they're going in clean for professional boxing fights. There's just no way on this planet. It makes no sense. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. The whole VADA thing is ridiculous. This VADA thing. What do you guys think about VADA? I mean, it's laughable, isn't it? It's laughable. Just think about how people say, oh, he was tested by VADA. I could pass VADA testing. It's very, very simple, right? Let's say me and Joe signed to fight, yeah? So let's say me and Joe signed to have a fight. So me and Joe are in negotiations about having a fight, yeah? Okay? Very, very simple. I know I'm in camp. I know I'm going to be fighting, what is it now? July time, yeah? I know I'm going to be fighting around October time, right? I know I'm going to be fighting somebody in October time. And my team are in negotiations with Joe. What am I going to do? I'm going to fucking cycle on, take all my fucking PEDs, take all the stuff I need to take, train, do that first phase of training. Then I'm going to sign the contract to fight Joe. Right? And then in the contract, me and Joe are going to agree a date to start VADA testing. And by the time we've agreed that date to start VADA testing, I've cycled off and then I passed my VADA test. What do you guys think about that? That's all I'm doing. I know I'm fighting around about September time. I'm negotiating with Joe. I start taking my stuff. I start cycling on. Me and Joe sign the contract. We agree to fight. Yeah? We agree a date when testing can start. By the time testing starts, I've already cycled off. I'm going to pass. And then VADA send out that stupid crap they do on Twitter saying XYZ has successfully passed VADA testing. I mean, are people fucking serious about VADA? It's laughable. Are people serious about VADA? It's just laughable. Oh my God, he was VADA tested. Really? It's about when you get tested, man. It's about when you get tested. And the only person who don't know how to fucking time their test is Jerome Miller. That's what Jerome Miller keep getting caught. Because Jerome Miller don't know how to pass his test. But you know what the thing about Jerome Miller is? I'm telling you now, Jerome Miller was shopped in by somebody. See when Jerome Miller got caught before the Anthony Joshua fight? I don't think that was a coincidence, I think that somebody snitched on him. 100%. Somebody ratted him. Somebody knew what he was doing. And do you know when they caught Jerome Miller? They caught him with literally the whole pharmacy cabinet inside of him, right? Do you remember that? It wasn't like trace substances, right? When they caught Jerome Miller, they caught him with the whole fucking pharmacy cabinet. Remember that? I'm telling you right now, somebody knew what he was doing, I reckon somebody knew when to test him. I reckon they were tipped off. That's just my opinion. I reckon that somebody was tipped. Somebody knew what Jerome Miller was doing and when he was doing it, and somebody tipped off the authorities and said, "Look, he's on it right now. If you want to go and knock on his door, now's the time." Because he got caught with 150 substances on him, didn't he? He got caught with tons, and that's a bizarre situation, you know. I've never seen somebody get caught like that with that. Normally, it's like a trace in it, trace substance or something. And he got caught with half of boots in him, didn't he? When they tested Jerome Miller, he had like half of boots in him. He had half of super drugs in his system. Half a super drug in his system when they fucking caught him. I something about that don't ring right. I've always believed that he upset somebody. That's my opinion about Jerome Miller. I've always believed that he upset somebody, that he went and ran his mouth and he said something that he shouldn't have said. And somebody fucking knew he was on dope. And they called it in on him. Look, this is Jerome Miller. When the drug testers fucking drug tested Jerome Miller, look. That's what they found, didn't it? Drug test results came back pharmacy. That's how bad Jerome Miller's drug test went. It didn't even come back and say positive. Jerome Miller's drug test came back pharmacy. People think that's very, very strange. I agree, seconds out. I think he was grassed up, 100%. That Jerome Miller situation stank from the get-go. Not saying he wasn't on dope, but he was rattling some people, wasn't he? He rattled a few people. Do you remember, I'm not saying Deontay Wilder rattled him out, but do you remember when Deontay Wilder said, "I know you're on dope," about Jerome Miller? Do you remember that? I'm trying to find a video. Do you remember when Deontay said, "Look, yeah, I know you." I said, Deontay Wilder was saying, "I know you're on the source. I know you're on the source, Jerome Miller." Do you remember that? I think it's the video. Like, we know you're doing something. We know you're doing something. But it's the way they caught him, isn't it? I mean, they caught him bang on, didn't they? They caught him bang on. Very, very suspect. They're all, I don't know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, Andre says Miller was juiced to the gills worse than Brock Lesnar. He had everything, man. Yeah. It would have been easier to list the substances that he didn't have in his body, rather than listing the stuff. I feel sorry for the clerk who had to fill out the substances in his body. That clerk who had to say, "Yeah, Jerome Miller's tested positive for this, and this." They must have been there for a cool fucking week and a half, drafting it up, sitting in Microsoft Word, spell checking it and drafting it up. Would have been easier to just say, "Look, this is what he hasn't taken." Would have been easier, innit? Just said, "Yeah, these are the substances that Jerome Miller hasn't taken." Jesus Christ, it was what it was. Harvey Chan says, same as when White accused AJ of roids and Fury accused AJ of roids, and then White and Fury popped dirty. Well, I don't think AJ's behind, but Dillian White, obviously. And you know what? That is funny, isn't it? Do you not find it funny how no one ever talks about Dillian White flat out accusing Anthony Joshua of performance enhancing drug use? Do you remember that after the Andy Ruiz fight? When Dillian White said the drugs don't work about Anthony Joshua. Look, 6 years ago, this was. Dillian White, "I hate Anthony Joshua for drug dealing and steroid using." Do you not find it funny that nobody ever talks about it? Nobody ever brings that stuff up, you know? Nobody ever brings that stuff up. What Dillian White said about Anthony Joshua. It just gets swept under the carpet, didn't it? You remember that? When Dillian White was coming out and saying, "Look, this guy's a..." Dillian White, what did Dillian White? Dillian White was talking about TUEs, didn't he? Do you remember when Dillian White said that he was getting therapeutic use exceptions? Isn't that what Dillian White said about Anthony Joshua? Am I right or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, I apologise, but that was the impression I got, right? And he just totally got swept under the carpet, didn't he? Like, Nobody followed that up. Nobody followed that up. But these are the same Muppets who are coming out and telling you they want a clean sport. Connor Nash says that Dillian White got 1 million views on his YouTube channel saying AJ was on juice and he got taken down. Look, all I'll say is this. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. I don't know what Anti-Joshua's on. I don't know what he's on. But look, I'll tell you this now. We'll talk about Joe Joyce in a second. I'll tell you this now. I do worry about him in this fight. You know, look, I think for boxing, it's probably good for boxing if Anthony Joshua wins the fight in a way. You know what, honestly, right? I think Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury is a far more enjoyable, watchable fight than Fury and Usyk. To be honest, I think when people think Fury and Usyk, I don't think Fury and Usyk would be fireworks. I think it would be very, very cagey. That's my opinion. So I think for boxing, it would be good if Anthony Joshua won. I think all I want to see is Anthony Joshua win fair and square. And that's my only thing about this fight with Usyk, really. I just want to see, you know, the correct scorecards. Because like I said before, I think the things in boxing that are really bad for the sport right now are performance-enhancing drug use and judges' scorecards. To me, those are my two number one problems in boxing right now. Maybe there's some more that I'm not aware of. Strangely enough, Daniel Cunningham isn't top of that list. Because Daniel Cunningham isn't taking performance-enhancing drugs and then going in the ring and punching fighters in the face. So strangely enough, right, since Daniel Cunningham isn't putting fighters' lives at risk, he isn't actually top of the top of my list right now. Some of my list in boxing are things that I like to see sorted is performance-enhancing drug use and dodgy judging. But I just look, as long as we get the fair result, that's all I care about. Whoever wins, wins, as long as we get the fair result. I think Anthony Joshua is capable of winning the fight. I think he's a big puncher. He's capable of taking anybody out. You'd be a fool to write off a guy like Anthony Joshua. I've said it a million times. You'd be a fool to write off somebody with the punching power that he has. Yeah? Listen, he's done a lot for British boxing. You know, he's fought some good opponents. You know, I've got time for the guy. I think recently, his recent heel change, I think it's hilarious. So I've got time for the guy. And I'm not sort of praying for his downfall. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I'm concerned. That's all I've got to say. I think very, very delusional, this article. Let's move on. Let's move on to someone who's absolutely delusional. Joe Joyce. I don't know how anybody, hand on heart, can look at that performance last night from Joe Joyce. I think that was a good performance, to be honest. Hand on heart. Okay, look, if you look at the result, he stopped Christian Hammer in 4 rounds. Frank Sanchez went the distance. Fair enough. Fair enough, he stopped Christian Hammer in far more convincing fashion than Hughie Fury did. Fair enough. But I don't know how anybody can turn around and put a positive spin on that performance last night from Joe Joyce. I'm going to repeat a tiny bit of what I said last night. I'm just going to repeat a tiny bit of it. And you're welcome to give me your opinion. 130 people in the chat. We've had about between 130 and 160 people in the chat, give or take. And still only 57 likes. If you'd like to hit the like button, please do hit the like button. Don't be a fake person. I've got too many fake people out here who are following me, pretending to be my friend, pretending they love the channel, but they can't do a simple thing like hit the like button. Listen, here's what we have to say about all these fake people out here not hitting the like button.
Fake people around me. How the hell I'm on your Facebook, I'm on your Twitter, I'm on your Instagram, it's people hating and you ain't saying shit and you claim to be down with me. Give me a break.
I don't know how anybody can put, a positive spin on that Joe Joyce performance. What do you think about that? I don't know how. I think that performance last night was a disgrace. That's my opinion. The reason why I say it was a disgrace is not to hate on Joe Joyce. As I've said before, I believe, that training teams have a responsibility to make sure that their fighter doesn't take unnecessary punishment in the ring. And I don't think that duty of care was met to Joe Joyce. I just think the riot act at this point needs to be read to him. Somebody backstage needs to say, Joe, listen. I would say it to him. I would say it to Joe Joyce's face, 100%. And Joe Joyce wouldn't hit me because he's a cool dude. I've got no problem with Joe Joyce. I would say it to Joe Joyce's face if I saw Joe Joyce in the gym and I would chat with him. I would say, mate, you're better than me. You knocked me out. You are a world-class boxer. But look, you have to protect yourself in that ring at all times, man. Don't take any unnecessary punches that you don't need to take. Do you know how much better Joe Joyce would be if he just picked up his left hand after he jabbed? Do you know how much better he'd be? I mean, we're not talking. You don't need a superstar Cuban boxing coach, Hall of Fame coach to tell you this stuff. Do you understand? This isn't rocket science. He pushes his left jab out and he doesn't bring it back to his chin. So when he pushes his shots, he gets timed with an overhand right every time. This is not rocket science. Anybody in this comment section, even people who haven't boxed, could pick this stuff up about Joe Joyce. So he's paying these guys 10% of how many thousands that he's getting in a fight. And they're not reading him the right act and saying, listen, you need to pick your left hand up after you punch. This is basic boxing, yeah? Basic boxing. I mean, look. This is like fucking... When you get taught your basic stance and you get taught how to throw a jab, you don't get taught to throw a jab the way Joe Joyce throws a jab. So I'm not asking for any kind of miracle coach to come in. We don't have to resurrect Emmanuel Stewart, right? We don't have to resurrect Costamato or give him to Angelo Dundee or whatever. This is like ABC's 1, 2, 3s. I think it's bizarre. And I just think, like I said before, I know that BT have a responsibility to promote Joe Joyce and this and that, and they want to promote him and big him up, and I understand that, and that's fine. But I thought last night he just got a bit too far. Hughie Fury beats Joe Joyce for me. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't go that far. That's my opinion, though. I don't think he beats Joe Joyce at all. I don't think Hughie Fury can beat Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce breaks Hughie Fury down 100% in that fight. I think Hughie Fury has always been a very, very lethargic fighter. He's never really shown that he can keep up any kind of pace for a very, very long time. So I think the Joe Joyce pressure would get to him. I certainly don't believe he punches hard enough to get the better of Joe Joyce. I think he'll win the first 3-4 rounds against Joe Joyce, obviously. I think he'll pin Joe Joyce around and win the first 3-4 against him. But I think eventually, like I said, he'll get broken down. He'll get hurt in the fight. And it is what it is. Oh, God. Now, but Hughie hasn't got his man strength yet. How old is Hughie Fury? How old is he? Jesus Christ. 1994. So he's nearly 30 years old. He's 28. Okay. So he has got his man strength then. People comparing Hammer's power with Wilder's. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Keki says, I give Joyce a chance against anyone due to his steel chin, stamina, and the way he keeps coming. But do you not think that Joe Joyce would be such a more dangerous fighter if he learned how to fucking pick his left hand up and he actually started blocking shots? Because this is why I made a point last night, right? Let me make a point that I didn't make last night and I forgot to make. The problem with Joe Joyce and Christian Hammer is, right, when you get in the ring with journeymen, right, or when you get in the ring with people who aren't really meant to be on the same level as you, right, the quicker that the more pressure you build against these journeymen. Because you know, like guys like Hammer, right? Hammer's at the stage of his career where he's just collecting checks, right? These guys don't really believe they're going to go in and beat Joe Joyce, right? You agree with me on that? Press 1 if you agree with me on that, or press 2 if you disagree. Guys like Christian Hammer, when they get in the ring with Joe Joyce, they're journeymen, they're gatekeepers at this stage of their career. Yeah, they don't believe they're going to beat Joe Joyce. They're not training like they're going to go out and beat Joe Joyce, right? These are guys who are getting called up sometimes on late notice, 3, 4, 5 weeks notice. Can you fight a Joe Joyce? Yeah, I'm in semi-decent. They just, they keep in decent tick over shape so they can accept a fight on 3, 4 weeks notice. They come in, they get brought in as the opponent, and what they try and do, land a few shots, survive, and get out of there without taking too much punishment, then it's on to the next paycheck, right? When you get in with the ring with guys like these, the more momentum and the more pressure you build, the quicker they fold. If Joe Joyce had gone in last night against Christian Hammer and picked up his left hand and hadn't given Christian Hammer any signs of success whatsoever, that fight would have been over in 2 rounds. He'd have mentally jacked it. You've got to build pressure. Do you know what I mean? You've got to build pressure. That's what building pressure is, right? Building pressure is you don't give the opponent any success and you're having all the success. So if Joe Joyce was the kind of fight, had fought the kind of fight last night, where he was, doing the same thing, he was beating the juggernaut, he was cutting off Christian Hammer, he jabbing, doubling up the jab, and then when Christian Hammer threw that right hand, instead of taking it clean on the chin and marching forward and giving Christian Hammer rounds for free, just picking up that left hand. Pick up that left hand, catch it, and then get back to punishing. That fight would have been over far quicker. Because the opposition's not seeing any hope. They're not seeing any success. It's just down, 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 down. It's just constant pressure. There's no relief. There's no purchase. They're not landing anything. They're not winning anything. They're not winning a second of any round. Do you know who used to do what Joe Joyce does in fights? But he never had the chin that Joe Joyce had. David Price. I used to criticize David Price for the same thing. David Price was a massive guy. Big puncher, huge puncher, right? By all accounts, David Price, right? But he always used to give opponents a sniff. You always felt as an opponent that you had a sniff against David Price. You always felt that you had a sniff. You knew that he had absolutely no stamina. You knew that after round 3, if you could get out of them first 3 rounds against somebody like a David Price, you knew there was no way he could do the 12 rounds. Did David Price ever do 12 rounds in his career? Let me know about that. Certainly towards the end of his career, I don't think he did 12 rounds very many times. How many times did David Price ever do 12 rounds? I'm not going to look at box rate. How many times did David Price ever do 12 rounds? You knew if you go out of them opening 3-4 Price and you were in decent shape, you knew you had a chance. You knew you had a chance. He could not build momentum in fights, Price. He's big, he had all the power in the world, but he could not build momentum. Couldn't build momentum in fights. Guys always felt they had a sniff against him. And because guys always thought they had a sniff against David Price. See the journeyman that he used to face, I remember when he fought Christian Hammer, who knocked him out. When Christian Hammer knocked out David Price, he was beaten up by David Price earlier in that fight. But you know what it is? These fighters, when they know you're vulnerable, they always stay in there that little round longer. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Press 1 if you get me. You don't have to agree, but press 1 if you understand what I'm saying, and press 2 if you don't understand what I'm saying. They always stay in there. Them journeymen, they always stay in there that little bit longer because there's just that little sniff, isn't there? Does that make sense? There's that little sniff. They're getting that little bit of success. And if you look at Anthony Joshua's fights, right? If you look at prime Anthony Joshua. Remember this stuff, look, prime Anthony Joshua. This is what they're saying the peak of Anthony Joshua was, This is what they're saying when Anthony Joshua was at his peak. Do you remember prime AJ when he was busting up Baktov, right? When AJ was in the O2 Arena, bashing up Dennis Baktov, right? And he was supposed to be indestructible and nobody could defeat him. Was AJ taking clean right hands on the chin? Or was AJ building pressure from the bell to the finish? Did you ever see AJ get caught with any clean right hands by the likes of Dennis Baktov and stuff? Or was it just complete one-way traffic? What do you think? Do you think it was just complete one-way traffic, yeah? Was Anthony Joshua, when he was fighting Journeyman, just building pressure from start to finish, landing big shots, not taking any shots in return? Did he ever give these Journeymen a sniff? A sniff? That's fine, Kegi. I don't mind. You're fine to disagree. Disagree away. It's not a problem, brother. Did he ever give him a sniff? He didn't, did he? And that's what I'm saying, and that's part of why Anthony Joshua was so destructive at that level. Never gave you a sniff. Never gave any of these guys a sniff. You never thought there was a hope. You never thought you could hurt Anthony Joshua. You never thought when he was in the ring with a Batov or a Cornish or any of these guys, you never thought he could be hurt. You never thought, he's open for the overhand right, or I can do this, I can do that. So when he used to put it on these guys and pressure these guys, they used to fold. And when you build pressure, a lot of these fighters, you go mentally first. Your mental's kind of the first thing to go a lot of the time. Because it's like, shit, I'm getting hit, I'm getting hurt, and it's unrelenting, and I can't stop it, and I can't get out of it. And a lot of times, and I've been there, you jack it first, mentally. You jack it first. And I just think Joyce doesn't do that in his fights at all. He doesn't, does he? I don't think Joyce does that at all in his fights. I think he does the opposite. I think journeymen come in against him, or gatekeepers come in against him, and I think he's always given them that opening, to be honest. And that's why they stay in there for a couple of rounds. Because they just think, well, I'm probably going to get beat, but there's just that what if, because he's open. He's wide open. And it's a shame. My point is, I think Joe Joyce would be far more destructive if he had a defense. Far more destructive. Far better, far more destructive. I think if Joe Joyce was able to cover off that overhand right, he'd get opponents out there quicker because he'd be able to build pressure more. So I think it's a real shame, and I think big tricks being missed there by his team and by the people around him. And I don't think it is acceptable for a guy who's on the verge of fighting an Usyk or an Anthony Joshua next, right? I don't think it's acceptable to give up on the fundamentals of boxing and say, well, it is what it is with Joe Joyce. He is who he is. Well, it's never too late to pick your left hand up, mate, after you jab. We're not asking him to turn into Usyk, right? We're just asking him to pick up his left hand after he jabs. We're not asking him to turn into Usyk. I don't know what you guys think about that. But that was my opinion, and I got a lot of heat for last night. Do you know last night, I had some, this is why I had some people, they were even going at Jason Walker after. People are leaving comments, told that Jason Walker not to ban me. Do you know what? Honest to God, if you don't like the show, just don't watch the show. I had someone last night, and before we'll get on to the Tete knockout in just a sec. Talk about Tete in just a second, right? Weirdest message I had last night. It's one of the weirdest messages I've had in a long time. Somebody came in the chat last night and said, Ultra, can you please ban me? I disagree with everything that you stand for. All right, why is a grown man coming in someone's YouTube comment section and asking someone to ban them instead of just not watching? Does that make sense? It's just easy to just not watch. That's what I do. I'm a grown adult, right? So if I don't like something, if I don't like someone's content, I just don't watch it. Do you know what I mean? I just switch it off. I don't get angry or send that person abuse, right? There are plenty of people out there with YouTube channels that I disagree with about boxing, right? I don't abuse them. I don't call them out or ask them for a fight or say I'm going to knock them out or do this or do that or blah, blah, blah or this and that. I just don't watch. But you have to worry about people like that. The fact that you'd watch it and then go, can you please ban me? It's weird, isn't it? That's a weird trait, that is. Yeah, that's a very, very weird trait. It's like when, it's like when you're on the phone to a girl, isn't it? You get these guys, they're on the phone to a girl. And instead of just putting the phone down, they go, oh, I can't put the phone down. I can't stop talking to you. You put it down first. No, you put it down first. No, you put the phone down first. No, you put the phone down first. Like, what the fuck? It's madness, You jump into a comment section and say, Can you please ban me? I just think, why don't you just not watch? Why would you come to the trouble of watching an hour of the show and then leaving a comment asking to be banned? It's just don't watch. I'm telling you, mental illness, I promise you, and I'm someone who suffers with mental illness, right? I promise you, and before we go on to Tete, I'll say this. Honest to God, you have to make your own YouTube channel at least once. When you make a YouTube channel and you get a little bit of a following, you will understand, yeah? You will understand just how messed up the average person is. It's absolutely bizarre. The stuff I've seen, the stuff I've had over the past, it's just, you think, are these real people? It's a real problem. It's a real problem that we have, you know? Anyway, let's move on to Tete. Let's see, let's not do the sound for this. This is Alane Tete. Hopefully I don't get done for this, but it's just, these videos are all over the place. This is Alane Tete last night. You would say best knockout of the year in British boxing so far. Can you guys think of very many better finishes or knockouts in British boxing this year other than this? This was pretty brutal. Tete and Cunningham. I mean, Jesus, that was he was done from that left hand, by the way. I mean, I'm not saying the referee shouldn't have stopped it. I'm not saying the referee should have stopped it, because you got to give Cunningham the chance, right? But you can see he was done after that left hand. After that left hand there, he was absolutely gone. If you look at him there, can you see that he is gone? And I'll tell you another sign that he was gone. He wouldn't look the referee in the eye. Just watch this. Referee tries to see how he is. He won't look the referee in the eye. Watch. Can you see that? He didn't want to look him in the eye. He was gone. He was absolutely gone. Cunningham. He was gone. But I suppose you've got to give him the chance, right? But there is a case there. There is a case there for stopping it. You could see, look, I didn't like the eye contact there. What do you guys think about that? Yes or no? Didn't like it. Look. Look. He's not looking the referee in the eye. I don't know. To me, he was gone. And he knew he was gone. He knew he was done. He knew he was done. Nothing wrong with that. It was a tremendous shot, by the way. Southpaw versus Southpaw is very, very cagey, right? Southpaw versus Southpaw fights are very, very cagey a lot of the time. The reason why Southpaw versus Southpaw fights are quite cagey is because it's very, very hard to get off the left hand against another left-hander. And that's why if you watched that fight last night, you noticed, right? Tete only really landed 2 backhands, right, in 4 rounds. You see what I'm saying? Jason Cunningham didn't land a single backhand on Tete the whole night. Southpaw versus Southpaw is very, very hard. I always really struggle to land my left hand on Southpaws. Orthodox fighters, different story. But against Southpaws, because the angles change, yeah, it's very, very difficult to land left hands against Southpaws. And that's why Southpaw fights can be very, very cagey. And that's why in this fight, you saw the battle of the jabs. Because the jab to the body, the jab to the head and the right hook are much easier shots to land, yeah? For me, in my opinion, Southpaw versus Southpaw than the left hand. Left hand's quite difficult to land. And if you look at the fights that we've seen, some cagey fights, I mean, the exception probably was Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz. Charles Martin was able to nail Luis Ortiz with his left hand multiple times. But you look at some of the other fights we've seen, William Monroe versus Billy Joe Saunders. Very, very technical, cagey fight. Both fighters struggling to land the backhand. And Billy Joe Saunders won that fight off the jab and the jab to the body. And you see it in this fight with Tete. What done Jason Cunningham, and he said Jason Walker, what done Jason Cunningham in this fight here? What's got him knocked out? It's not a mistake. It is what it is. Tete had the better reach. And that's what it was for me. It looked to me like Tete had the height and the reach. Am I wrong on that? I haven't cheated and looked at BoxRec, but it looked to me like, listen, Tete won the first 3-4 rounds on distance, right? But if you look here at what Jason Cunningham does, trying to set up the left hand against Tete is what does him in this fight. I'll show you it right now. So he's about 3-0 down in this fight. And what he's trying to do is he's getting nailed with Tete's jab. And what he tries to do, you're going to see it now. He tries to take an angle and step around to his right-hand side to set up, let me repeat that again. he tries to take an angle and step to Tete's right-hand side to set up his left. And Tete times him with the right hand. Watch this. Look, I'll show you. Did you see that little step he took? I'll play it back in a little spin. It's nothing. It's not a mistake. It just is what it is. But Tete just picked him up. To be honest, it was a good idea because he was 3 rounds down, and he had to start getting a little bit more urgent, and he had to start bringing himself into the fight. And he's trying to land his backhand. You see, he's not having much success with the jab at all, right? Because of the range and the reach, right? So what he tries to do is take an angle. He tries to slip Tete's jab to the outside, step around him, and he wants to land this left hand. And when he steps around to his right, Tete picks him up. Watch. There's the step. Do you see that step? And he actually does it. See that? Steps around to his right-hand side, and he slips that jab to the outside. Can you see now? He wants to set up that left hand against Tete. But see, Tete's picked him up. He's going to go for that 2 now. And that's what it was. That's what done him. Caught in the middle of punching. It's a fantastic shot. Fantastic timing. Fantastic timing there. Can't really fault Cunningham for that because he did the right thing. Look at that little step he does. He does it. He avoids the jab. He steps around there to the outside and he just avoids that jab. But he didn't pick up the 2. You see, he looks to throw his left hand. Look, can you see? And he gets nailed with the 2 right in the middle of the punching. We haven't seen the finish yet, have we? He's gone at this point. Here's the finish. Oh, that was heavy. Oh. I mean, at this point, could Foster step in? Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh my God. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think Foster was a bit late there? I mean, we know how Foster's one of the worst referees ever in the history of British boxing, but do you think Foster was a bit late on that? What do you guys think? Let me know. Oh my God. I think for me at this point here, you think about jumping in, wouldn't you? Oh my God, that's bad. And look at the head. Oh Jesus, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I think that's one of the most destructive stoppages. I can't think of a more destructive stoppage I've seen this year, but I forget fights very, very quickly. What do you guys think about that? Jesus, that was serious stuff. That was very, very, very serious stuff. Tete there delivering that was brutal. And Jason Cunningham, there's absolutely no shame in that. Apparently, he handpicked that fight. He decided to fight Tete. Can you fucking believe this? Jason Cunningham, he has got some nuts, you know, Jason Cunningham. Can you believe that? The guy was on a 7-fight win streak, and he was on the verge of fighting for a world title. And he said, yeah, I'm going to go and fight Solane Tete. He's very awkward to fight. Oh, yeah, Crazy D3. Better than Cordina versus Ogawa? Nah, probably not. Cordina versus Ogawa was a wipeout, so I'm not going to... But you know what? Honestly, can I be honest with you? I think that was a more devastating finish, you know? Because you know what it was? It's the way his head hit the canvas twice. Do you know what I mean? His head bounced off the... He was flat out, like... Do you know what I mean? It's the way his head hit the canvas twice. I mean, he was flat gone. I don't know. Probably Cordina versus Ogawa, to be honest. Was a hell of a shot. But that Tete one was just, for me, that was vicious. Absolutely vicious. What are you guys arguing about Klitschko for? Oh, you guys are talking about Fury and Usyk. We'll talk about that another time. Right, let's just finish off with some news. Joe Joyce and Christian Hammer. What do you guys think about this? The Mikaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgartner super featherweight world title unification is reportedly set to be the co-main event with the Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall undisputed world title fight September the 10th, O2 Arena in London. Boy, I think that's fantastic. What do you guys think? Can you imagine that? Shields and Marshall and Mayer and Baumgartner on the same night. Do you know, Mikaela Mayer is really beginning to annoy me, you know? She won't put any clothes on. Boom says we need Monique's bucks on the undercard. Jesus, Monique, who gives a fuck's bucks? How can I get Mikaela Mayer's Twitter up? Jesus Christ almighty. Have you seen this woman's Twitter page? She does wear some outfits, doesn't she? Her choice of outfits is a bit different, isn't it? One sec, I'll be careful. I don't want to be too disrespectful. I can't find her fucking page at the minute. Probably because I'm spelling her name wrong. I'll find it now. If you guys want to bring anything up, now's the time. Oh, someone asked if we're doing call-ins. No, we're not doing any call-ins because, you know, we just get too many Muppets who try and, you know, I'm just not in the mood to talk to Muppets today, to be honest. What I am in the mood is to talk about Mikaela Mayer and this dress sense. Oh, God, I have to get up on Nitter. I mean, yeah, she was a model, but some of these dresses, I think Shevin were talking about this. Behind the scenes. Let's see if we can get a media page. What do you guys think about this, Mikaela Mayer? The stuff she wears is nuts, isn't it? I don't think she has any jumpers. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think Mikaela Mayer has any jumpers whatsoever. She has no cardigans, no jumpers, no nothing. Like, when she goes out, doesn't she? And every night, every time she's on Twitter, it looks like she's about to go clubbing. She doesn't leave much to the imagination. And this is good for her. Let's have a look. Let's keep looking. I don't know about Mikaela Mayer, man. I don't know, man. I don't know about this Instagram. Look, here's another one. Look. What are you guys saying? Jesus Christ, look. She's a model. You can't argue with Mikaela Mayer, but it's just dress sense is interesting, isn't it? What do you think about that? She goes for it, doesn't she? She really does go for it, innit? On a night out, look. She fucking goes for it, doesn't she? I've never seen her, like, with any clothes on, to be honest. There's always, like, not much to the imagination, to be honest. Oh, no, look, there you go. This is what I like to see. Wearing a hoodie. It is what it is. There you go, yeah, London Shaft says, yeah, dressing like it's a school disco. Do you know what I mean? Like, she goes for it, doesn't she? Look, that's what I like to see. Just wear a hoodie, be normal. Be normal. What are we saying about this? I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it? There's a lot of things I want to say right now. Not in a way, but I'm got to be careful what I say here. But yeah, you know, I like to see these women stay feminine. Do you know what I mean? Stay feminine. If you know what I mean, that's what I'm going to say. Stay as feminine as possible. Stay as feminine as possible. Right, we'll carry on. What you got at this one? What is this? What do you guys think though, man? I'm just being real. I know I'm going to get heat for saying that, but I just, you know, I'm not saying she's not a quality boxer. I'm not saying she's not a nice person. You know, like I said before, out of all the female boxers, right, who's the best looking one? You probably have to say it's Mikaela Mayer because she's a model. Like, she was a legit, she catwalk model. Like, Mikaela Mayer is the only one out of them who could be a legitimate, like, catwalk model. I'm not talking about Lads Mags. I'm not talking about Loaded Magazine. I'm not talking about Page 3 or any of that crap, right? I'm not talking about plastic tits and stuff. I'm not talking about Babe Station, right? I'm talking about a legitimate, like, catwalk model. Like, Mikaela Mayer has a very, very unique look. She's got a weird face, right? She's got a weird looking face. Which, you know, she's good looking, but she's got a very, very unique face. That's what they go for, right? When you're a catwalk model, they don't go for, like, classically beautiful, do they? They go for people who are distinctive looking. Mikaela Mayer is very distinctive looking. But this orange dress, she looks like a carton of Tropicana. Do you not think, though? No disrespect, but... Do you not think Mikaela Mayer looks like a 2-litre bottle of Tropicana here? not sure, you know. Few more and we're done. Snazzy Azzy says, I think Savannah Marshall's underrated. Look, she's at it again, look. Maya's at it again. The thing about Savannah Marshall is, I think Savannah Marshall, right, is really cool because she doesn't, she's just herself, isn't she? Look. Here's the last one. Look. Yeah, Kiora. Yeah. I'll get back to that in a sec, but look, I'm not going to disrespect Mikaela Mayer because this is her man, and her man will come and destroy me. I think this guy's an MMA fighter. Mikaela Mayer got in a bit of trouble with this guy because she was calling him her Black King or something on Twitter. Oh my God. And so she got a hell of a lot of heat. Mikaela Mayer had some heat on her. She had all kinds of women up in the comment section hating on her because of who she's dating. And that's all I got to say about that. There are some people, yeah, who weren't pleased about that. But do you know what I'm saying about Mikaela Mayer, yeah? It's like, your man's taking you out on a date, yeah? You're in the limo. Brilliant. Why are you wearing knee-high boots, yeah, and dressed like this, though? You're just in a limo, chilling with your guy. Do you know what I'm trying to say? What do you think? What do you want me trying to say? Like, you're just chilling, like. Look, she's taking the dogs out for a walk, and that's how she dresses, to take the dogs out for a fucking walk. Knee-high boots, latex all-leather skirt. I mean, she goes for it, doesn't she? She really does go for it. Like, she doesn't mess around. Personally, I just think just chill, innit? Chill out. Oh, that guy was an NFL player. Yeah, just chill out. Look. I don't know. There's a Ramla Ali. Look, you've got the Ramla Ali. Anyway, it is what it is. Sorry about that. I'm not going to answer that. I think Natasha Jonas, let's quickly have a look at Natasha Jonas. I think she dresses Natasha Jonas, aka Peacocks. I think she's far better dressed than Natasha Jonas. Far better dressed. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I think Natasha Jonas has got far better dress sense. She dresses like a normal person, doesn't he? Yeah. Someone said Mikaela's like a catwalk model and Alicia's like an IG model. I'm not going to make any comments about Alicia Baumgartner. I've had people send me pictures of her by DM and say, Ultra, what do you think? She's amazing looking. I would say that's fine. I'm not in the position to criticize anybody. That's what I'm going to say about that. I would say, look, and I'll say this in closing, then we'll move on and finish off. One thing about Mikaela Mayer and Natasha Jonas, right, is they don't wear a lot of makeup. If you look at Tasha Jonas, she doesn't wear a lot of makeup, but she looks great. So all I'll say is beware makeup. Because some people, when the makeup comes off and those eyebrows come off, they look completely different. Do you know what I mean? They look completely different. So just be careful for makeup. Makeup is incredible these days. I see a lot of that around on the internet. That's what I'm going to say about that. A lot of makeup, a lot of eyeliner. You know, look very, very different. Very, very different when you put a bit of foundation on and you're drawing in your eyebrows and you're drawing in this and that. All right. And then when it all comes off, you know, people, some certain people look completely different. One thing about Mikaela Mayer is Mikaela Mayer doesn't wear any makeup. Dele is now attacking me. Dele Ongundipe. All these girls you're talking about are butters, mate. You have a poor taste. Absolutely. I've got terrible taste. They're all butters. Show us the way, Dele. Show us the way. Who do you like, Dele? Who should I be looking at? Give me a name and I will put them up in a... We'll have a look right now. These girls are butters. So who should we be looking at, Dele? Who should we be looking at? Let me know. Give me a thing in the comment section. Yeah, what? give me a name in the comment section, Dele, and we'll have a look. Who do you think? Who do you think, Dele? Give us a name. All these girls are butters. I don't think Mikaela Mayer's butters at all. I think she's unique looking. but I think some people don't quite get what makes a catwalk model. I think some people don't understand the difference between fake tits, fake makeup, fake eyebrows, babe station type birds who cake it on, and women who can actually what. None in boxing. Now you're just backing out now, aren't you, Dele? You're just backing out. You're backing out. You're not giving me a name. You're just trying to, just backing out. Give me a name, Dele, of someone who's not Butters. Who should I be looking at? Who's stunning? Boxing or not boxing? Who should we all be looking at, Dele? What's your taste? Since my taste is terrible, what's your taste? Give me some names, Dele. Give me some names. And don't give me Ellie Brooke either. Don't give me Ellie Brooke or Astrid Wet. Give me a decent name. Dele's got them standards. That's it. Dele's a bad man. Yeah. Dele only dates 10s, innit? You know about Dele, he only dates 10s. So obviously, you know, girls like women like Mikaela Mayer, can't have them. Can't have them. Crazy D3 says makeup is the art of war deception. Right, let's finish off with some news and then we'll all wait for Dele to come up with some names. Dele, if you don't come up with some names, that's going to be an automatic lifetime ban. So I need to see some names in the next 30 seconds. I ain't making no money from this, Dele, so I don't need your sub that bad. So my finger's on the block button, ready to go. I need some names, man. Super Mario. I haven't watched this, right? But Super Mario, aka Marius Breidis, got beat, right? By some Australian by some Australian fighter. Marius Breidis. Hold on. You know what I'm trying to get? I'm trying to get that picture of Breidis dressed up as Super Mario. Why can't I find that picture though? How are they blocking it? So I'm on the other screen here. Hold on. Here we go. Only on the zone would you see this shit. Only on the zone would you see this kind of shit. This man was the IBF or something champion of the world. This man legit rocked up to the O2 with a Happy Meal in one hand, dressed up as Super Mario, begging the Sleep Master, Lawrence Okole, for a unification fight. The Sleep Master, Lawrence Okole, the Sleep Master, aka the $1 million man, innit? Lawrence Okole, Ted DiBiase, putting him in a $1 million sleep. He be putting viewers in a $1 million sleeper hold. Oh, that's true, Adam. They come in boxes. I don't spend a lot of time at McDonald's. I go occasionally, but I don't spend a lot of time at McDonald's. It's full of riffraff. It's full of riffraff. I can't believe he did that. Look. Yeah. Jason Walker says, you know Calais had that idea while doing an 8-ball. Absolutely. Calais Sauerland must have been off his fucking knockers. He had one of his top fighters dressed like this in the middle of the O2 with a $quarter pounder and fucking chips in his hand, begging for a fight with the Sleep Master, Lawrence Okole. Look at this stuff. Are you going to tell me, hand on heart, the zone isn't a clown show? Look at this stuff. That's Ade and Tony Bellew who's sitting next to that. How are these guys keeping a straight face? You're telling me, hand on heart, the zone is not a clown show? No one's sitting there and saying, Marius, with all due respect, yeah, you're a world-class boxer who gave Alexander Usyk one of his toughest ever fights. Why have you rocked up in your O2 dress like this, trying to get a fight with the Sleep Master? Jay says, "Mook the zone." Mook the zone. I mean, are you fucking serious? People are telling me British boxing is not a clown show. British boxing is not a clown show. Are you sure? It looks like a fucking clown show to me. Oh, Jason, can you do me a favour? Can you ban Dele? Because we've been waiting for Dele to come up with his list, and he ain't come up with his list yet. Dele, where is it? Jason Bandele. He didn't come up with a list. All I asked him for was a list. He comes in attacking me. All these girls that you are talking about are butters, mate. You have a poor taste. Okay, then. So just tell me yours then. What's the problem? Criticise me. Tell me yours. Didn't do it. So Jason, hit that ban button. It's the end of that. Crazy. Akbarman says, "Are you sure you don't regularly go to McDonald's? I find it impossible to believe." Why would you find it impossible to believe that I don't regularly go to McDonald's? That's strange. Why would you find that? Let me know about that. Why would you find that impossible to believe? McDonald's is garbage, and it's got garbage people in there. Simple as that. There's nothing else to say, is it? It's a garbage place for garbage food, and it's full of garbage people. It's just facts, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I mean, no, I don't spend a lot of time at McDonald's. I go occasionally. When was the last time I went? I've been a couple of times. I went last week, I think. Actually, I went in there 2 days ago and walked out. I went in there 2 days ago with the missus and I just said, you know, I'm just going to walk out. There's nothing going on in there. I want to walk out. Horrible. Went and got takeaway instead. I mean, you know, I'm not rich. I'm not even close to being rich, but I mean, we shop at M&S and Waitrose to avoid the riffraff. So I'm not going to spend too much time at McDonald's. We'll go on to boom. I'll get to this anti-Fowler thing in a second. Yo King. I've got something to show you, Yo King. I know Yo King's a real G, but I think Yo King might be. I might be converting Yo King to Waitrose. Hold on. When was the last time you was in Waitrose, Yo King? I've got a feeling you've been stepping in there recently. Here, get this. This is what I'm on right now, Yo King. Clear Spring. It's what I'm on right now. Clear Spring. There you go. I want to do something about green tea because me and Yo King and a few others are quite into the herbal tea. How many of you guys are into your herbal tea? I will get back to boxing in just a sec. I just want to tell you, we had a chat once. We were talking about food, and I tell you now, right? Yo King was talking about, what were you talking about, Yo King? Heath and Heaver. I went into my cupboard, and I have got tons of that shit in my cupboard. So, if you was on Twitter, I was going to take a photo and send it to you. I have got tons of Heath and Heaver that I've accumulated, but I just haven't got around to drinking yet. But, yeah, Clear Spring. Quite a few guys are into your herbal tea. Give this a try. Clear Spring, yeah, right. Yo King was in there yesterday. There you go, Yo King. There you go. Jason Walker. Oh my gosh, even the Labrador Grove man are going into Waitrose now. Jason Walker. We're going into Waitrose. Jason Walker. Almond croissants, bomba clate. Even Jason Walker sneaking into Waitrose.
Bomba clate.
Even Jason Walker. Big up, Jason. Yes, sir. Hey, Yo King, hit this up, man. If you go in there, let me know what you think. If you like green tea, if you don't like green tea, Yo King, ignore it. They do some dodgy stuff, but this Clear Spring band is my go-to right now. They also do this. Look, they do this weird thing, roasted twig tea. I mean, look, I drink this shit. It's all right, you know. Roasted twig tea. It's not bad. And again, it's not that expensive. It'll set you back about £4 for a pack of 20. Very nice. Have a look at that. Right, sorry, let's get back to what we were talking about. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I should have finished this show a long time ago, but you know what? I'm just chilling at the minute, and we'll just chill for a little bit longer. If you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. If you'd like to talk about something boxing related, all you have to do is subscribe and ask a question that's non-offensive, and we will get around to it. Or get around to Anthony Fowler. Somebody's saying that Anthony Fowler's Versace, what? Someone stole Anthony Fowler's Versace something. Right. Ultra, did you see Anthony Fowler's Versace pram got robbed outside of Iceland? Funniest thing I've seen in a while. If somebody can get me a link for that. See, the thing is, Versace. Here we go. Oh my gosh, this is bad. Oh my God, is this legit? I thought, oh my God, let's have a look at this then. Right, this is Anthony Fowler. Please retweet. Some rat has robbed my baby's pram on Allerton Road outside the Iceland and Odd Bins. It was about 2:45 p.m. today. If anyone's got any information or someone tries to sell them this Versace pram, please get in touch. £500 reward if you get it me back. Oh my God. Oh my God. I cannot believe what I've just seen. First and foremost, I'm very, very disappointed in Richard from Twitter. I'm very, very disappointed in Richard from Twitter because he's normally on the mark with this. I mean, you know, stuff like this comes up. The first thing you do, tweet Ultra, DM Ultra. You know when you see stuff like this, what do you do, right? What's the first thing you do, right? DM Ultra. Do you know how many people in boxing do this? You'd be surprised. You get a few people who work in boxing, right? I'm trying to tell you guys. The few people who work in boxing, yeah? And they see dumb shit. They don't put it out there and say, this guy's an idiot. Do you know what they do? They DM Ultra. Then they go, have you seen this? Is this guy for serious? And he stood there and took a photo of himself outside Iceland. Let's have a look at the pram. I mean, that pram is hideous. It is hideous. Let's do a poll. Since I really appreciate the fact that 100 of you are still here. Let me say something. I really appreciate the fact that 100 people are still here listening to me talk shit, you know, about Versace prams. I don't ever think that it's not noted and that it's forgotten about. I appreciate all of you. And like I said before, we'll see what happens, you know. Do you know what? I will say this very, very quickly because there's not that many people. There's only 100 people in here. There's not that many people in here, but I don't know if it's my place to say, but you know, if any, it's hard because if anybody's ever going through, particularly around Christmas time and this year, if anybody's ever going through hard times and you're regular, yeah, and you're going through some tough times, get in touch and we'll do something. We'll sort you out. It's not a problem. You'd be surprised, man. We're usually surprised. You'd be surprised. We look after our own on here, and you'd be surprised, man. I help a lot of people, so I don't have a lot of money, but like I said before, pretty. Around Christmas time, if we're around on this channel, we'll be doing something. And if anybody's having problems or a bit short or anything, we can do something. The only thing I have is I want to find a way to donate, but without giving my details over. But anyway, so let's do this poll. I'm all over the place in a minute. This Versace pram's got me. Is Anthony Fowler's Sorry about that. Is Anthony Fowler's Versace pram nice? Yes or no? Yeah, Richard, you dropped the ball. Ah, I see, I see. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Jason Walker says, some crackheads already sold that for a score. Trust me, that's gone. Right, let me start with my analysis of Anthony Fowler's pram, right? This is a classic example, and I've got time for Anthony Fowler, even though he said some very, very questionable things, right, about CBD and COVID. Right? I do like Anthony Fowler. Look, there is a name that we have for Anthony Fowler, right, behind the scenes, and it's called Dr. Fowler, right? Behind the scenes in certain conversations that are had behind the scenes, we do refer to him as Dr. Fowler. That's how we refer to him as Dr. Fowler. Because of his interest in medical science, yeah? I actually do like Anthony Fowler, right? But can I be honest? This is why I keep saying the following. Being rich or being wealthy or being a certain class has nothing to do with your bank account per se. It's in the mind. If you want to be rich, right, short of winning the lottery, you have to be rich in the mind first. What do I mean by being rich in the mind first, right? I've been around middle-class people my whole life, right? I've been around middle-class people my whole life. You know, people who aren't millionaires, but people who do okay. You know the kind of people I'm talking about, right? You know what I mean, right? You know people who aren't millionaires, but they're proper middle class. They're doing okay. Do you know what I mean? And do you know one thing I've learned about the difference between middle class people and working class people who get a bit of money? A middle class person would never buy a pram like that. Press 1 if you agree with me, press 2 if you disagree. Would a middle class person really ever buy a pram like that? Would a middle class person, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, don't you? Richard's got tons of money. So, I mean, he just pretends to be working class, but we all know he's minted. Shevin is minted. You get Shevin, he is minted. I don't think you guys realise Shevin is minted, man. Shevin doesn't have to work. People need to get that into their head, you know. If Shevin wanted to if Shevin wanted to stop working today and become a full-time moderator for free on my channel, he could do that and afford to live in comfort for the rest of his life. He has got a lot of money. A lot of money. I don't. But do you think a middle-class person, with all due respect, would be seen dead pushing their child around in one of these, right? No. Exactly, Crazy D3. What I learned from middle-class people is that they don't flaunt a lot of their money. A lot of them dress like morons, you know? Do you know what a lot of them dress like? They have that weird dress code. What you see from them is a Land Rover at best. You know, you'll see like a Land Rover or a Range Rover at best from them, right? Have you seen the way they dress? I mean, these guys, they walk around. What the fuck is this? Oh, I see. Sorry about this. I didn't type in anything naughty. I'm trying to get a picture of it. Hold on. This is what you'll see from a middle class guy. See something like this. Do you know what I mean? That's how middle class people dress. Gant, Ralph Lauren. They don't, not all of them, but a lot of them don't flaunt it. They don't wear stuff with like big labels and big emblems. They don't wear stuff with like Nike and Adidas and loads of stripes printed all over them. They look like, and listen, I'm one for that. Listen, I look like fucking something straight out of Sports Direct. Don't get it twisted. I walk around in fucking tracksuits all day long. That's all I wear. So I walk around looking like something out of Sports Direct. But for the most part, middle class people, do you know what I mean? When you go into your weight rows and stuff like that, this is what you see. This kind of stuff. Look, stuff like this. Standard polo and a bit of, you know. Do you know how working class people dress? like this. That's the difference. That's how working class people dress. They get a bit of money and it's gold chains everywhere. Look, the labels have to be on show. Look. Who was it? Was it Berlanga? Was it the boxer Edgar Berlanga who came to the ring with his girlfriend, yeah? Let me see if I can get this on Twitter. Was it Berlanga who came to the ring and he rolled up his shirt as he walked as he walked into the arena and he was being filmed walking into the arena? Oh, pic's not showing. Oh, sorry. Wrong screen. Thanks, mate. Sorry about that. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Sorry about that. I was on the wrong screen. Sorry. Right, let's do this again. So this is how middle class people look. Standard shirt, jeans, that kind of stuff. But no, they don't show off the big labels. They just turn up like this. That kind of thing. They might just wear, you know, the polo shirt or whatever, but not a lot of big labels, not a lot of flash, right? That's what people who actually have some kind of money do. Like, they actually have some kind of wealth. Like, they know how to handle money. They know how to build money. They're not just guys that got rich rapping. They're not just guys who won the lottery. Like, these are guys who have been around money their whole life. Or, do you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean, don't you? It's always in the mind. A lot of it's not in the bank account. I've been around middle class people who are broke, but you can still tell they're middle class. Look at this. This is how working class people dress. Look, make sure the Versace belt buckle's showing. 150 gold chains. Got to make sure that the labels are showing. Look, they've got to make sure everybody has to know the brand of what they're wearing. The boxer, I think it was Berlanga, he was walking into the arena, right? And as he walked into the arena, he actually rolled up his shirt cuff so the camera could capture his golden Rolex. I'm not even joking. He was getting clowned on Twitter for that. I'm trying to find it now. Walking into the arena with his girlfriend, and as the camera was filming him, he saw the camera was filming him, and he pulled up his. I can't find it, but he pulled up his shirt. He pulled up his shirt arm so the camera could get that he had a gold Rolex. People who are actually wealthy people don't do that. People who get rich and blow it all over a bad coke habit, or people who get rich and blow it all on cocaine, that's how they behave. Stuff like this. For people like this is why rappers go broke, right? So my point about Fowler, which I've completely lost now, is that pram is genuinely hideous, isn't it? Like, what have you got to prove? Like, here's what I say, and I'm sorry for rambling on. I apologise for talking bollocks. What I'm trying to say is the following, right? This is how I look at designer gear. I don't wear designer gear. Listen, I tell you now, I do not have a lot of money. Am I broke? No. I would say, honestly, where am I at financially? I would say I'm just above broke, I would say, to be fair. I would say I'm above broke. I would say right now, I have enough money, not a lot, but I have enough money that I could probably quit my job and pay my half of the rent for a couple of years. Let me think. Let me just do the maths. Let me work it out. Couple of years. Sorry. I'm sure it's more than a couple of years. Yeah, it's way more than a couple of years. What am I talking about? Way more. Way more. But that's my half of the rent. I'm not saying I could pay all the rent. Obviously, me and my missus split it, don't we? Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. I think close to. I think I could probably. It'd be tight, but I'm getting to the point where. Yeah, I thought I had a bit more than that actually. I might need to save a little bit more. Sorry about that. I reckon I could probably, without any income, I could probably pay my half of the rent every month without any income for 2.5 years, maybe a bit more. I think it's a bit more. So that's my financial state, right? I'm not in a good state, but if something happened, it is what it is, right? I could sit on my ass for a couple of years. So I'm not. Titus Crow says, well, if you can do that, you are in a better position than 90% of the UK right now. Yeah. Look, it is what it is, you know. But here's what I'm saying about designer clothes, right? If this was a Versace, would you think this is even? Do you know what I'm trying to say? You have to look at designer clothes and you have to say, look, if you took off the label of this right now, so if this was just something for mother care, if this was not Versace, right? If this didn't have the Versace branding all over it, if this was by, I don't know, fucking H&M, would you buy this? And the answer is no, you wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Press 1 if you agree with me or press 2 if you don't. That's my thing on designer clothes. When you buy designer clothes, you have to think, well, look, if this didn't have a big label on it, would I buy it? Yes or no? And to be honest, once you take away the big label and the price tag, look at this, look. Look at this Balenciaga. I mean, just think about this logically. This jumper's awful looking. If that jumper said H&M, H&M, H&M in red over it, you would get clowned for walking down the street with a fucking jumper like that. But because it's got the words Balenciaga on it, I was like, oh my god, he's like designer. But it looks stupid. Do you know what I mean? It looks stupid. The whole outfit looks stupid. The chain looks stupid. The chain looks stupid. The jumper looks stupid. And I just think that's a very, very working class. There's nothing wrong with being working class. I came from my mum's side is extremely working class. We didn't know where our next meal was coming from. My father was lower middle class. That's what saved me. The fact that my father was lower middle class. My mum, we didn't even know where food was coming from. So yeah, I just think this pram from Fowler, I think it's terrible, man. I've lost it again, but you get my picture. It's terrible. It looks awful. And what's Anthony Fowler doing outside Iceland? That's the thing, isn't it? It's like you spend £500, or was it? He's given away. Look, what is this stuff? It's just bizarre. Look at this stuff. It's just none of this makes any sense from Fowler. Look, he's willing to give somebody a £500 reward for finding his Versace pram. Right? Let's find out how much this is quickly, and then I'll drop it, and then we'll stop. I'm sorry for rambling on. I apologise. If you're still okay for me to carry on talking, press 8. If you're still okay for me to ramble on, I apologise. I know I'm rambling on and going off topic, but while we're here, it's a Sunday afternoon. I've got a code review to do in a minute. I'm gonna have to have a shower, do a code review, and blah blah blah. So look, we'll have a chat and blah. Look, Richard's right. Look, it's £1,500. Look at this. Look, it's fucking. Look at this. £1,700 on a fucking pram for a child, but you're shopping in Iceland. Do you understand now? The level of the you spend £1,700 on a fucking Versace pram for your child, but you're shopping in Iceland. Does that make any sense to anybody? Why would you do that? Why would you spend £1,700 on a pram, but you're putting food into your stomach from Iceland? say to people, people say to me, oh, what do they say? Oh, Ultra's, Ultra talks about shopping at Waitrose. He thinks he's rich. No, I always say the same thing. Anybody can shop at Waitrose. Anybody can shop at M&S. It's not expensive. It's priorities. That's what tells you, innit? It's priorities. What's your priority? Is your priority spending fucking 1,700 quid on a Versace baby stroller and leaving it outside of fucking Iceland? Or is your priority spending £100 on a fucking stroller or getting a second-hand one from a charity shop or something and spending the 1,600 quid on quality food or a better shopping experience? Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to be rich. I mean, it's just bizarre. It's just, and that's what I'm saying. And you're not fooling anybody. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Anthony Fowler, but I'm just saying, like, you're not fooling anybody with that kind of stuff. Like, people who have money or people who are of a certain class, they know what you are. Nobody looks at you and thinks, look, oh, he's on fire. 700,000 pound pram, but you're parking it outside Iceland. Look at the state of this place. Why would you leave a 1,700 pound pram outside of here? You can literally see the fucking crack pipes on the floor. Innit? You can literally see crack pipes and needles all over the floor. I wouldn't have been seen dead in here. And look at the window to this place. They're selling things for a fucking pound. I wouldn't be seen dead in here. That's just me. If I had to, right, and I was working class, absolutely fine. If you're working class and you're on a low income and you have to be here, that's not a problem. But we're talking about someone who's spending £1,700 on a Versace pram. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Context, innit? But look at this window. They're selling items for £1 a time. So you're going to go in there and spend £1 on your dinner, but you're going to spend fucking 1,700 quid on a pram. It's just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it before. I've never seen anything like it. I just think it's hilarious. Let's have a look at the comments and then we'll call it a day. It's just, I don't know why he's put that out there. I don't know why he's put that out there and thinks he looks good. He doesn't, you know? And I don't mind Anthony Fowler at all. What do you think? So I'm just reading through the comments now. They're telling Anthony Fowler to check the CC. And he found the pram. Did he not, Richard? Did he find the pram, yeah? A Versace pram, whatever next. Who's this? Why are they putting Beefy up here? Can you see that? That's cold. Oh dear. That is ice cold. Social media has its moments. You see that? I'm trying to zoom in, but I'm not sure if you can see. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Someone's put a picture of Liam. Oh, sorry, one sec. Someone's saying it's Liam Beefy Smith. Can you see the pram in the background? What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people in this day and age? These comments. Punter here selling a Versace pram and a baby bag full of ham for £100 here if anyone interested. Oh my God. Oh dear. Oh dear. There you go. All right, guys. I apologise for going 2 hours. Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you had a good show. Please feel free to hit the like button. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the time that you spent. Hope you've had a good laugh. I haven't shouted on today's show. What do you guys think? I've tried not to shout. Maybe I've shouted a little bit, but I've tried not to shout. I've tried to tone down the voice a little bit. Seems like it's coming through fine on the microphone a little bit more. So maybe we'll try and continue in this vein. But I had a good laugh on today's show. I have to say I did have a good laugh on today's show. I'm gonna have a chat about that offline now. That pram, because that's an absolute joke. Take care of yourselves and of each other.